Let's talk 5 college football programs that could be primed to have a monster year after the way they recruited the high school level and the transfer portal. Actually, this is a great article by On3 desk writer Keegan Pope. Shout out to him. We're going to break this down because if you were watching this year's national championship, both teams, Notre Dame and Ohio State, relied on both high-level recruiting at the high school level and finding key additions in the transfer portal. So we know high school recruiting is valid, but without guys like a Will Howard and Caleb Downs or Notre Dame's Riley Leonard, do they make it to the highest point in college football? That's the question. Now we're going to talk about 5 teams that have excelled at both the high school and the transfer portal. So before we get going, guys, smash that subscribe button. All right, let's get to it, and we're going to start with Oregon. They recruited really well at both levels. Number 4 at the high school level, number 4 in the transfer portal index ranking. And Lanning has done a great job of overhauling this complete roster since Mario Cristobal was the head coach. 27 transfers between 23 and 24. But if you look at this year, only 10 this year. In 6 of the 10 were 4 stars in the transfer portal index. So quality over quantity is what I'm seeing in this year's transfer portal class and high school. In the high school recruiting, though, has been on a rise. The Ducks signed 19 players in their high school class, but they had an average ranking of 93.36, the highest in the country. So there were teams that signed more than 19, into 20, 25, 26, 27 guys. Oregon only 19, but the highest average ranking out of anybody else in the country. And that comes on the heels of the nation's number 3 class in 2024. So get ready because the Oregon Ducks aren't going anywhere. All right, let's talk LSU now. Class recruiting ranking at the high school level, 9. Transfer portal index ranking, number 6. Now, LSU's on-field performance last year was not up to the Tigers' standing. That's why Brian Kelly did something about it this offseason. The Tigers went out. They added 16 new players, including multiple projected starters on the defensive line and in the secondary, somewhere they struggled at on the field in 2024. They also managed to majorly upgrade the weapons around Garrett Nussmeier and did so without losing any projected impact players on the current roster. So we all know their current recruiting class lost some of its luster with Cade Phillips and Bryce Underwood flipping, but wait, we're not here to talk about the negatives. They still ended up with a pair of 5 stars and the nation's number 9 class. So from top to bottom, this should be LSU's most talented roster since Kelly took over, and now they just got to go out and prove it on the field. Let's talk Michigan Wolverines. At the high school level, they landed the number 6 class in the nation. Really impressive. Transfer portal index ranking, number 10. And for all the doom and gloom about Michigan's season, yeah, they went 8-5, but they did beat both Alabama and Ohio State essentially without a functioning quarterback room. Their NIL backers saw that. The glimmers of hope in Sharon Moore's first year, it sent them in a tizzy. They went all out and everything changed. It happened about late November. Michigan flipped the number 1 overall player and number 1 quarterback, Bryce Underwood from LSU. Then they went out and they landed elite offensive tackles, Andrew Babalola and Ty Haywood. And at this point, Michigan is cooking on the recruiting trail. They also vastly upgraded their secondary. They got 3 top 100 signees, and we are entering a new era of Michigan football. Let's talk Auburn. They had the number 8 ranked recruiting class at the high school level and the number 9 transfer portal index ranking. So Hugh Freeze's seat is getting warm out there on the plains in his second season. They were sub 500 in both seasons, so you would expect the heat to get up, but man, can he sell. He can sell this program to recruits. Not only did Hugh Freeze land his quarterback of the future in Deuce Knight, flipped him from Notre Dame, but he also signed maybe the highest upside quarterback in the portal, Jackson Arnold. Arnold, he has some weapons around him. Wide receiver 1, Eric Singleton Jr. from Georgia Tech, and then you couple him with Cam Coleman, who's already on the roster, and they have the potential to be very dynamic on offense. So while offense was a big focus in the portal, defense was the name of the game at the high school level. Auburn signed 6 defensive players who rank among the top 150, regardless of position, and all of them hail from the state of Alabama. They dominated in-state recruiting. Let's see what they can do on the field this year. Lastly, we got Texas A&M. High school ranking, number 7. Transfer portal index, number 8. And I would say proof of concept was there at multiple points during Mike Elko's first year in College Station, but his team lacked depth, especially on offense, and they really have to get it put together. They got the pieces in order because the Aggies, they found their QB of the future in Marcel Reed. They're going to build around him, and that's what they did this offseason. They signed one of the best transfer portal classes on offense. Wide receiver Kevin Concepcion, Micah Hudson. They added to the tight end room with Amari Niblack. They went all out in the portal. They also signed another top 10 recruiting class headlined by 5-star wideout Jerome Miles at the high school level and 5-star offensive tackle Lamont Rogers. The Aggies roster is absolutely loaded, so it's time to see what Mike Elko can do. You tell me, what do you think of some of these portal classes and high school classes combined? Did we miss anybody? I think Colorado's worth a mention here. We know Coach Sanders is going to go out and get some of these high school guys to come in and play right away. He hits the portal hard, and you're seeing even more balance at Colorado. Not as many transfer portal guys as when Coach Prime arrived. Florida State's another program. They live and die by the portal as well. They had a great portal class, not as well at the high school level, but the expectations are high this year. You guys talk to me. Let me know. Comment section below. Who do you think is primed to make a run in 2025?